everyone. Thanks for signing on today. My name is Deanna Langman, and I am the State Program Manager of the Montana PTAC, Procurement Technical Assistance Center. And I'll talk a little bit about PTAC, who we are and what we do, and then I will introduce our guest speaker today from the Park Service. But PTAC, for those of you, some of you, a lot of you probably know who we are because you've worked with us already. But for those that may not be as familiar, PTAC is a program that specializes, its advisors actually specialize in helping businesses with government contracting. And so as you can imagine, the government marketplace is vast, and these government contracts can be good business opportunities for some companies. And so our role is to help your company in navigating this marketplace and learning how it all works and helping you get set up and do the proper outreach and marketing and research that you need to, find these contracts and be successful in going after some of them. PTAC is a national program. The funding for PTAC comes primarily from the Department of Defense, and then there's some local matching dollars that go into it as well. But the reason that matters is because the services to your company are provided at no charge. They are free. Well, we do not charge for any of the work that we do, whether it's the one-on-one counseling, which is our primary means of helping your company, or trainings like this that we have throughout the year. Like I mentioned, PTACs are all over the country. All the states have PTACs. Two of our U.S. territories, Guam and Puerto Rico, have PTACs. In Montana, we have 6 locations. And so pretty much no matter where you're at in Montana, there is an advisor that helps your company. And we do have a few of those advisors on the line today, I believe. So wave your hand or show your face. Rosalind Dix, she is in our Billings location with me. And we've got John Schneeberger. He is our advisor in Hamilton. And then I think we have Carly on the line from Lewistown, Carly Wheatley. She is our advisor in Lewistown. And I'm not sure if anyone else is on. But anyway, what I would say is go to montanaptac.org. And that's our website, and find the advisor that serves your area after this webinar today. Because really the idea after this is for us to help you through one-on-one counseling, kind of figure out where you're at, what your goals are for government contracting, what next steps you need to take, etc. And it looks like somebody shared the link. That's probably Roz, montanaptac.org. Go there and check it out and see how we can help you. But with that, let's get going with our program today. Billy Thomas is our presenter, and Billy is with the National Park Service, and she's going to talk to us today about how to do business with the National Park Service. You can imagine in Montana, there's a fair bit of activity and contracting that happens. Park Service needs the help of the private sector, the contractors, to get some of its work done. And so Billy's title is Contract Specialist. She has been with the Park Service since 2001. But I'll let her tell a little more about her background and the program today. Billy's camera isn't available to her, but she's on the screen, has Billy T. So welcome, Billy. Thank you for joining us today and giving us this information. Take it away.
Thank you, Deanna. Can you hear me?
Yep, you sound good.
Okay, great. Well, thank you everyone for showing up today. I'm going to do my best. My name is Billy Thomas, and you are free to email me anytime if you have questions too. And I don't have it on the screen here, but it's BILLIE_Thomas, THOMAS at NPS, which stands for National Park Service.gov, G-O-V. And first of all, I would like to thank the PTAC advisors throughout the whole state who have just been immensely helpful to us in contracting. They help people get established in SAM and other things, help upload invoices. Christy Cummins Dawson, the Kalispell rep, is just my champion. So I highly advise all small businesses to reach out to the PTAC and do it. So we'll get into that later. I started out with the National Park Service in 2001. I've been a clerk. I worked for the fee department. I worked for natural resource conservation, clerical, and the facilities department. So I've kind of worked in a few of the divisions throughout the National Park Service, and then even concessions. And then I got into contracting 5 years ago. So right now I do supplies and services primarily, and I'm just starting to do construction. So I do have some construction information at the end of this PowerPoint, and it will list the vendors and people that you can reach out to if you're interested in subcontracting with our MATOC contracts. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. But in the meantime, we will just move forward. So the mission statement of the Park Service is that it preserves. That's the key word for the Park Service, is in comparison to the Forest Service, is the Park Service is preservation minded. So the National Park Service preserves unimpaired the natural and cultural resources and values of the national park system for the enjoyment, education, and inspiration of this and future generations. The Park Service cooperates with partners to extend the benefits of natural and cultural resource conservation and outdoor recreation throughout the country and the world. So now we're going to move into doing business with the Park Service. Not sure. There we go. So as of recently, the Park Service has been divided into 12 regions plus the Washington office and 2 project management offices. We are in, well, let's move to the next slide. We are in regions 6, 7, and 8, which comprises of these states. So we actually purchase for all these parks in these regions. So I work for the region. I work for the National Park Service, but I actually work for the region. I'm stationed at Glacier National Park, but I work for the whole region. So I do purchasing for Yellowstone, just everybody in our region. So the Wyoming National Parks are Yellowstone, Grand Teton, John D. Rockefeller, Fossil Butte National Monument, Fort Laramie Historic Site, and Devil's Tower National Monument. The Montana parks are Glacier, Grant Coors Ranch National Historic Site, Little Bighorn Battlefield Historic Site, Bighorn Canyon National Recreation Area. Region 6, 7, and 8 annual workload. Last year, we obligated $135 million in 1,800 actions. We spent approximately 15% on construction, 85% to supplies and services. We typically spend 70% in the 3rd and 4th quarters. That's April through September. Our small business goals for this year are 50% small business, 5% small disadvantaged business, which includes 8A, 3% hub zone, 5% women-owned small business, and 3% service-disabled veteran small business. Most actions are less than $250,000 are automatically reserved for small business. Projects over $250,000 are screened to seek opportunities to set aside actions to 8A, hub zone, women-owned, or SDVOB, service-disabled veteran-owned business, before the total small business set aside. So if we can see that there's competition for these projects under these set-asides, we will do that over the just total small business. And if not, we have to justify that we couldn't find the competition. And that would be through online market research, through the dynamic Small Business Administration website, just through all of our market research. These were our small business achievements for last year, and we met all of them. So as you can see, most of it went to small business. Okay, so this is what we typically buy for Yellowstone National Park, which is located in Mammoth Hot Springs, Wyoming. Construction, road repair materials, recycle and refuse services, inspection services for fire suppression and elevators, armored car services, heavy equipment repairs and inspection service lifts, air duct cleaning, water treatment chemical, heavy equipment rental, horseshoeing, bear-proof containers, refuse containers, and also bear spray. Those are two separate things. Gill netting, office supplies, hay, weed seed-free hay, winter pasture for livestock, and hazardous waste removal. Grand Teton, which is in Moose, Wyoming. Construction, materials for road repairs, recycle and refuse, inspection services, heavy equipment rentals, operations and maintenance on visitor centers, janitorial services, bear-proof containers and bear spray, office supplies, winter pasture, snow plowing, and coin-op laundry services. Glacier National Park, this is where I'm stationed. West Glacier and St. Mary. Construction, materials for road repairs, recycle and refuse, inspection services for fire suppression and elevators, armored car service for the fee collection monies, heavy equipment repairs, air duct cleaning, chimney sweeping, liquid waste collection, horseshoeing services, bear-proof containers and bear spray, propane, office supplies, weed seed-free hay, winter pasture, janitorial supplies, shuttle bus driver contract, and the shuttle bus mechanical services contract for the maintenance repairs. Little Bighorn Battlefield out of Crow Agency, Montana. Construction services, dive services for the water tank inspections, headstone cleaning, vehicle and equipment repairs, various building materials. Bighorn Canyon National Recreation Area there's two locations, Fort Smith and then Lovell, Wyoming. Construction services, medical direction services, refuse collection at Fort Smith and Lovell, vehicle and equipment repairs, various building materials, bulk fuel and propane, dock inspections. Dinosaur National Monument out of Colorado. Construction services, river shuttle services, hazardous tree removal, vehicle and equipment repairs, various building materials, fuel and a shuttle bus. Devil's Tower out of Wyoming. Construction services, vehicle and equipment repairs, various building materials, sludge sewer removal, porta potty rentals, refuse collection, bulk fuel and bulk propane. Fort Laramie. That's out of Fort Laramie, Wyoming, near Guernsey. Construction services, vehicle and equipment repairs, various building materials and security services. Golden Spike, historic site out of Utah. Pretty much the same thing. Alarm monitoring services, coal, wood, and propane. Fossil Butte out of Kemmerer, Wyoming. Construction services, vehicle and equipment repairs, and building materials. Timpanogos Cave, American Fort, Utah. Same thing. So now we're going to get into where to look for opportunities. This is all projects over 250,000 for all DOI. Those are posted on Acquisition Gateway. So we're going to go there right now, and I
Billy,
send out a copy of this.
Billy,
Yeah.
this is Deanna. We've got questions. Do you want to wait till the end or take them now?
Sure, we can take them now.
All right, so Leanne asked, how often do you look for NEPA? and related environmental review type services.
What was the question again?
I'm getting some echo. I'm not sure why. Hopefully you can hear me okay. How often do you look for NEPA and related environmental review type services? Were you able to hear that okay?
Yeah, I will have to get back to you on that because
Okay.
they don't work with NEPA. That's part of the compliance that goes into the work before it goes to contracting. We have a compliance officer at the
Okay. Can everybody hear me okay still? We kind of lost Billy, I think.
Oh, you lost me?
Yikes.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
Yeah, Billy, I can hear you too. This is
Okay,
Ross.
we have our own compliance
Billy,
officer.
can you hear us okay?
Research and compliance before contracting.
Jim says he can hear.
So I'll have to get back to you to see if we ever actually contract out NEPA. At this point, I don't think so. I think it's just done in-house.
Billy, we can't hear you. I wonder if she's lost her connection.
No, Deanna, I can hear her. She's fine.
Okay, everything's back on.
Yeah.
I think everyone can hear Billy but you, maybe.
Okay, all right.
I will follow.
I can hear now. Sorry about that, guys.
I will
right.
follow the NEPA question and make sure, but at this point, it's done in-house by compliance officers.
Okay. So another question is, how about design services for construction? And I know you mentioned you're going to talk about construction at the end. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. I'll talk about that at the end, and they definitely design A&E.
And so Jeff is asking, so services needs are limited to what you have listed. So basically what you've listed are mostly products per se, other services. I think you've listed the primary things that the Park Service buys, but that doesn't mean it's an all-inclusive list. Would that be a statement?
No, absolutely not. That's just primary.
Right.
There is a lot more services that are listed, especially under 25,000.
Yeah, excellent.
Local quotes that go under 25,000, and that's where we just reach out to local vendors based on our dynamic small business search. We reach out, or the market, maybe our customer at the park, maybe the facilities guy who needs this service. Maybe he knows who to contact. He has a suggested vendor. So we reach out to anybody that we can, and just under 25,000, we'll do local quotes. And that's based on our market research.
And Billy mentioned the dynamic small business search. If you don't know what that is, you should know. So you need to call PTAC to help you with it. The next question, and this is the last one, is from Eric. What about procurement of professional architectural and engineering services, historic preservation?
So is that A&E, architectural? You know, if that's related to construction, then I have construction information at the end of this PowerPoint, and I can also put you in touch with our construction contractors. However, right now we do have an A&E type of service. I mean, an architectural, actually it's archaeological type of service, but it's historical and archaeological, and it's doing a boundary survey up near the Canadian border for artifacts, for American Indian artifacts. So I know that's not architecture, but it's similar to what you're asking. So we definitely, if we need that service, we'll look for it.
Garrett messaged me privately, and I think that what you just said answers that question, but he wanted to know if professional services such as engineering or surveying are included in that. So, I mean,
yes.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're going to move on to where to look for contract opportunities. And I'm going to share, let's just click on this. I'm going to click on this, and we can share this with you later. So everybody has this link. And I'm going to share a new screen. Can everybody see this new screen?
Not yet.
Nope.
Oh yeah, there you go.
There you go.
It's called Acquisition Gateway. And once you're on here, keep your search very broad because it's difficult. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go here to the agency right here. It's a little bit lower. And type in interior. Mine came up because I've already been working with it, but you need to type in interior, Department of the Interior, which is what we are, National Park Service. If you want to look for Forest Service contracts, you would type in agriculture, Department of Agriculture. So now, and see, it's listing like 160. Well, I'm going to go ahead and type in National Park Service. And you know what? You have to use capital N. This is not that friendly of a site. I found it's if you use small letters on National Park Service, it didn't even come up for me. Okay, so now I just have National Park Service and then the DOI. And as you can see, it's all over the place. It's in Maryland. So I'm going to go down. You can type in a NICS code if you want to get specific. But I think I'm just going to go Montana. Just put MT. So it's not real friendly. Just keep it simple. Okay, so now it does list contracts that are out of West Glacier. Browning. So there it is. So you kind of got to play with this a little bit. Let's try Wyoming. National Park. So here's some contracts in Wyoming. So just keep it simple and try to keep it broad. Search. And if you have trouble, email me and I can help you too, or email your PTAC people, they can help you too. But it does take a little bit of playing around with. Just keep it simple. Either up here, the Department of the Interior or Department of Agriculture. Or you can do, well, actually the Department of the Interior is the BOR, which would be Hungry Horse Dam, Bureau of Reclamation. Or BLM, no, BOR. That's Interior. So it does take some playing around on this forecasting of opportunities. But that's where you can look for them. And then, yeah, that's it. Okay. Now, there's also GSA eBuy. That's if you're on GSA schedule. So you pretty much have to be on there. But that's it. ebuy.gsa.gov. You can see what's going on there. And that's where we buy like supplies for the warehouse, like COVID supplies, soaps, that kind of thing. Okay, contracting for opportunities that exceeds 25,000. It used to be on FedBizOps. Well, they changed it. It's no longer FedBizOps or FBO. It's now sam.beta.gov. So write that down. You need to go to sam.beta.gov and then you select contract opportunities. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
I think I need to do a new share.
Oh, no, you're fine, Billy. We could see it.
Okay, good. Okay, so now we're on sam.beta.gov. Go down here, search contract opportunities at the bottom of this website. See up here? See all this information? We'll just stay on contract opportunities. Okay, now the same thing. This is not real friendly. It's listing, you know, thousands, 93,000. Well, you got to filter down. So down here on federal organizations, I think we might be able to put in National Park Service. Okay, so there's the National Park Service. Now you can type in your NICS codes right, get specific, or we can just do but the place of performance though, you know, you got to know that zip code, and that limits you. And these are 2019. So I don't like starting like that. You got to start down here, federal organization. Just type in again, type this little ellipses over here. Did you see that? Click on the ellipses. Then you can type in the name of the agency interior. Department of the Interior. And click on that, 014. Select. And there you can even get maybe the inactive date. Let's just go in the past 3 months and hit filter. Okay, so now we have the DOI that's been listed in the past 3 months, but this is nationwide. And it includes the National Park Service, it includes the Bureau of Reclamation, which is like the Hungry Horse Dam, the BIA. So you can filter down even more. Now is when I can put in National Park Service. Dodge Ram vehicle, a rental. So you can click on these and see where they're at, but primarily keep it vague, because the more you filter, then you kind of lose out. I mean, you can lose stuff, so you have to be careful what you're going to filter. So yeah, I like to use that inactive date, past 3 months, just to keep it so you get the old stuff out of there. But yeah, you can put in a NICS code. So I have one out right now. Let's see, 327390. Nothing. So that's what happens when we filter too much. So I find this stuff frustrating too, but it is, you know, I think you just have to work with it more. Just have to try to work with it and not filter too much. If you're getting no results, then release the filters. Yeah, nothing. I don't know why it didn't come up. I mean, that's just frustrating because I had it come up a little while ago. When I
Oh,
was,
yeah, right there, Billy.
I'm hitting clear. There it is. Okay, so see, I just cleared that filter. It's not friendly. Just because I changed it to anytime doesn't mean it changed it. You have to hit clear or maybe filter, but just hitting enter didn't work. So that's why this is not a friendly site. Just hit anytime and then clear. Okay, well, it's a three-sided box culvert that we're looking for at Glacier. And it was listed under that next code, 327390. So anyway, this is a place you can go.
Hey, Billy,
Go ahead.
can you go to the top? You see where that little hamburger menu is there next to the search bar? Just so we can show people. It's on the gray seam there. Yeah, there you go. Keep going, keep going. One more, over to the left. There you go. Click on that. And do you see over there on the far right where it says Learning Center?
Yes.
So this is really nice for companies to know about because there's a number of different FAQs out here. There are some videos that really walk you through how to navigate this site. It's very informational and helpful. And if you click, Billy, on Explore Our Library, do you see that on the far left there? Go down a little bit. Then you can click on different options here for information, and there's one for videos. Do you see that on the far left? So all kinds of videos on how to use this site, very helpful. And then I put in the chat box, Roz has a great video on our YouTube channel that demonstrates how to search on this website, how to set up saved searches so you get notices in your email, etc. So it is, I agree with you, it's kind of clunky to use compared, because we were used to the other one. You know, you get just used to one way and then it's a different way. But there are ways to be, you know, to find what you're looking for on here. And it's a matter of kind of working through some of these steps.
Thank you, Deanna. Obviously, I need to take this training. So this,
Well, it's not really that visible on here. That's why I wanted to show it, because it's kind of hidden really. Unless
yeah,
you,
it was.
yeah.
Just this little,
Yeah.
you call that, yeah, it's right there. And then Learning Center. Okay, that's awesome. Thank you so much.
Yes.
And I will do this as well. In the meantime, okay, so let's move on. So these are the places where you can find contracting opportunities. And our IT supplies and services go through NASA's SOUP, which is a contract system. So like GSA, you have to be in NASA SOUP if you want to be considered for those. So now these are the COVID-19 impacts. Some projects were canceled last year and possibly even this year at the parks. But for projects that aren't, you just need a COVID-19 safety plan on how to deal with it in case an employee in your business gets COVID, that kind of thing. Here's the context for our Northern Rockies MABO. The MABO stands for Major Acquisition Buying Office.
Hey, Billy, I think you need to reshare your slides.
Okay, so let's see. Sorry about that. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, earlier this was the NASA SOUP. It's a contract site for computers and software. COVID-19 impacts. Companies need to have that right now, just how you're going to deal with it in case somebody in your office gets COVID. And this is the contacts for our Northern Rockies team, the team I'm on, Grand Teton, Yellowstone, and Glacier. Now, this for construction, if your questions aren't answered here, please contact me, or you can also contact our construction officers for this whole area. which included all those parks we went through earlier. Luis is a construction officer, contracting officer. That's his email. And Stacy Valley is also a major construction officer. Mary Kay Wooden and Katerina and Molly. All these people do construction, and I'm just starting to. And this is Eric. He's our legal man, our small business representative. So these are some questions that were asked, and I put this together. What vendors need to do business with the Park Service? The main thing you can do is make sure your NICS codes are current and that they cover everything. And that's why you work with the PTAC people, to make sure that in SAM, it's all your NICS codes are represented. Because when we post a contract to that Beta SAM site that used to be FBO, now it's Beta SAM, when all of our contracts over 25,000 are automatically posted to that site. And if you're listed as one of the NICS code holders, you will get an email notification. So make sure your NICS codes are current and encompassing. They cover everything. You can have more than 1 or 10 NICS codes even. Where to find opportunities over 25,000 and under 25,000. Well, like I said, actions over 25,000 are posted on beta.sam.gov. And make sure your keywords are in there. That helps too. If you have keywords for maybe brand names you cover, or just, just as many keywords as you can get out there. Because when we search, we like to look for keywords in that narrative. And we may, if we're doing a local quote for under 25,000, we do that dynamic small business search. We look in that narrative. If there's at least 5 or 10 vendors that offer that product or service in their narrative, we may just contact those 5 or 10 people because it's a local quote. It's called oral quotes. It's under 25,000. We may just compete it among those 10 vendors that have it in their narrative, because that's all we need. We just need good, strong competition. So it's important to have that. And then also your email addresses. If you change your email, make sure you update it in SAM. And then open opportunities are posted throughout the year, and industry needs to be set up properly for getting these notices. Make sure they're visible in the online marketplace. You may not have a website, but just try to get in the market, try to get online so we can see where you're at, or just find you somehow, even under Yelp or something. We do a lot of online market research. And we also contact our PTAC reps. If we can't find somebody, we'll contact our local PTAC rep and ask them, hey, do you know someone who does ferry or horseshoeing service in this area? That kind of thing. Industry needs to be registered under construction NICS codes in SAM and beta.sam.gov to be notified when an opportunity is posted. And then I was also going to ask you for a HubZone vendor list, Deanna. That's why I put that in there. So these are the open solicitations right now for Yellowstone. There's an electric construction IDIQ, which is, I can't even think of what IDIQ stands for. But it's a contract where you can place multiple task orders off of it, and it can be for up to 5 years. And right now we have a IDIQ in Yellowstone for refuse containers, and we order them every year. We order off of that IDIQ. So it's a ordering contract. So right now there's one in there for Wyoming. And that's the RFQ number. Recycling services, there's a request for quote, and that's the number right there. You can also plug that number into those contract opportunities to search for it under the beta.sam. Asphalt milling requirement will be posted. It's already up. It's posted this week. And at Glacier, there's a horseshoeing that will be posted next month. There's the 3-sided culvert that's open. These are just for the supplies and services. So on construction, the list of the multiple award task order contract called MATOC. Now this is an opportunity to do subcontracting. Vendors that are covered under this MATOC include Glacier, Grant Coors Ranch, Yellowstone, Little Bighorn Canyon, or Little Bighorn Battlefield, Bighorn Canyon, and Devil's Tower. This is the list of MATOC vendors, and I'll make a PDF of this and send it to the Deanna so she can share it. So these are the MATOC vendors that you can subcontract with, and it has the contact name and phone number and email. We also have a SABRE, which is the Simplified Acquisition of Basic Engineering Requirements. The SABRE company right now is OK2 Construction out of Texas. That's the contract number. So this contract provides minimal design, cost estimating, and construction services in the support of the National Park Service, Intermountain Region. It's used for real property maintenance, repair, alteration, and/or construction projects in the national parks and park units located in the states of Montana, Wyoming, and includes Golden Spike out of Utah and Timpanogos Cave out of Utah, and Dinosaur National Monument, which is in Utah and Colorado. Period of performance goes through 7/25/2024. Okay, that's it. So, so do you have any more questions?
Oh, yeah.
I do. Yeah. Yeah, Roz, why don't you go through the questions where we left off? I think I left off with Eric's question about historic preservation. And then why don't you go through the rest, and then we'll open it up, and then maybe individuals can ask questions in person if there's more.
Okay, yeah. I answered a few privately, so I got those taken care of.
Okay, good.
Is there a URL that lists the different offices, the MABO offices that they could go to? I just have a question about a URL.
Yeah, well, let me look into that. I'll put it down, and if there is,
I can look too. I'm sure it's on there somewhere. You just kind of have to. Sometimes they get buried in those websites, so I'll look for it too.
Yeah, so you mean for their contact information? Is that what you're looking for?
I think so, and just so they know, for the offices where the different contracting offices are.
Sure.
And like regions, I guess.
Our contracting office, which I mentioned in the very beginning, is for the Intermountain Region.
Yeah.
It included regions 6, 7, and 8. And that was from Texas up to Montana.
Okay.
That's our region, and we're the Northern Rockies MABO. So we primarily cover the northern part of that. We can get into it. Well, there are different MABOs that cover like Santa Fe, Texas, and those are different MABOs. So yes, I will work on getting you the URL for those the southern MABOs.
Okay. Let's see. This question is, how do you sell food in the national parks? Contract opportunities seem to go through concessionaires like Delaware North. So do you work directly with small businesses and the food and snack industry?
So the Forest Service probably does for fires, I would think. But the only thing I'm familiar with is we did hire a cook who could cook for the conservation kids at Yellowstone. So, and that cook had to have her own deli or ability to prepare food and serve the food. So that I can't remember what NICS code that was under, but
And that's, go ahead.
that is for Yellowstone, and I think they still have that contract out, and it is for the service of being the contractor that got it is stationed out of Gardner.
Oh, okay.
Cooks and provides food for the conservation team kids at Yellowstone.
But foods, Billy, like let's say snack foods, maybe gift items, etc. A lot of that is done through subcontracting with the existing concessionaires. Is that correct?
Yeah, that would be through concession because the government, well, the Park Service, we don't really, to my knowledge, purchase food or snacks, that kind of thing. I think that would be for like fires or yeah, maybe concessionaires. So you're right. It would be through subcontracting to the concessions contracts. And once again, you might be able to look up those through the NICS codes on that beta.sam.
Yeah, the concessionaires actually that are current holders of the agreements are on the Park Service website, so we can help anybody find those.
Yeah. Charles Storts has like several questions in one.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think you kind of talked about IDIQs a little bit. Sounds like maybe he's in the IT business. You know, will the Great American Outdoors Act continue to be funded? What areas will the funds be available for use? Do you have any information on that?
Yeah, the Great American Outdoors Act is working, and that's the facilities. So it will be upcoming and creating more contracts for facility repair on our buildings and other improvements in the park. So it's going to increase contracting, maybe through construction, definitely.
Okay. You know, are there any public safety projects such as radio infrastructure or improvement and IT projects for 911 dispatch to be covered? Do you know anything about that?
For radios?
Yeah, or like, I mean, yeah, radio infrastructure and improvements, and like 911 dispatch, anything related to public safety.
Yeah, we do have contracts out for the radio, but there's already a contract in place, and it is an IDIQ.
It is, okay.
Multiple ordering contract. It's called something Radiocom. Let me see. So you have to get on that original IDIQ to compete for like radios right now for the park. However, we have purchased outside of it. We can purchase outside of like that radio contract, but we just get it's whatever the specific park really needs. If it's like a I can't think of the name of the radios right now, but if it's some sort of a particular radio, and then as far as the infrastructure goes, yeah, that can go to contracting as well. It goes out depending on those NICS codes that are under the radio infrastructure.
Okay. And then can we get a copy of the slides too? If you can send them to us, we can send them out to everybody.
Yeah, definitely.
And Roz, Charlie has another part to his question. Any background on the field comm contract and stars would be helpful.
Mhm.
And I think Billy, Billy doesn't procure these kind of items. So
Right.
Charlie, this could be a conversation that PTAC can help you with and help kind of figure out where these are at and who the contact.
Yeah, and I think the field comm is the radio contract, isn't it?
I don't know enough about it. I'd have
I don't
to do some
know.
research.
So I do have information on, that's out of GSA.
Okay.
Okay.
Field comm is our radio.
Charlie, we can help you. Let's either call me or call Roz or whoever you
Oh,
want.
that's design build as well. Field comm contract documents, design build.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll follow up with you, Charles.
Oh yeah, and it's also Motorola. So these are the three, Comdex, Motorola, and Tribal Co. Those are the three contract holders on field comm. And they do provide the radios for the parts.
Thank
Okay.
you, Billy.
And then let's see, what is considered local in the context of contracts that are less than 25,000? What does that mean? And
So
then-
when it's under 25,000, we're encouraged to just do oral quotes.
Mhm.
And it's where we don't have to post it on Beta Sam. We just call PTAC and say, hey, do you have vendors out there that can provide this box culvert, some sort of construction or concrete culvert? Or we'll do a search under the dynamic small business web, that next code that covers concrete work. And if we can find vendors who are registered in SAM,
Mhm.
then we'll just call them or email them for quotes directly. And it never even goes to that acquisition gateway. It doesn't go to beta.sam. It's not even out there because we didn't post it out there. We just went directly to local vendors.
Yeah.
Because we found them in the dynamic small business search.
So it could be, go ahead, Billy. I was going to say it could be for the purchase of almost anything, commercial off the shelf items that, the Park Service might need for any number of scenarios. So there's really no specifics per se. I mean, they could buy beef jerky or buy water, or they could buy, a generator, or who knows, 25,000 and
Exactly.
under. Mhm.
That's right. It could, for instance, a couple years ago, we needed a Bobcat.
Yep.
And we did find a couple of vendors, and we ended up going with the small business concern out of Miles City, Montana. But yeah, we just did a local search throughout Montana, and we found enough competition for a Bobcat, which was actually kind of pricey. It was actually over that amount. And we can do that as long as we're posting it in a public place, then we can see that 25,000 and just get local vendors, because we've also posted it somewhere, and it might even be on the beta.sam. Maybe we're just going to put it there. However, we're just going to call these local vendors and get their oral quotes and go with them. If nobody responded to that beta.sam posting, which they don't, or maybe they do, but it's just, we go with the lowest price that can also provide exactly what we're looking for. So that's one way of doing it. So it's called an oral quote. It's over 25,000, but it's also posted on beta.sam. And we still end up going with whoever can provide the lowest quote and offer exactly what we're looking for, which 9 times out of 10 ends up being the local businesses because they can deliver it cheaper or whatever, but sometimes not. Another example is we needed a crane operator. Well, we needed a crane here in the Flathead Valley, and nobody was registered in SAM locally that could provide that crane because it needed to be of a large enough size that the smaller crane operators that were registered in SAM, it just didn't work for what we needed done. So that was a problem because we didn't have anybody in SAM that could provide the crane. So that kind of what ended up being a problem.
Scott, I think Scott Chapman wanted to maybe ask a question verbally. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just trying to put some more context around it because some of these places you were saying were in Utah, Colorado, Montana, Wyoming. So I meant, what is local there? So like in Utah, I do software consulting. So like say, oh, they need something to keep track of their inventory. We need somebody to make that. Would they just be looking in Utah? Or is the office in Montana that's looking for that? So they're only going to be looking at Montana, or is it only like 25 miles around your office? Or what does local mean to you?
Well, local for me means whatever area in that park, the area surrounding that particular park. So if it was Utah, it'd be that area. For something like software assistance, you don't need to be local, so I wouldn't look locally. If I needed a software assistant to help them in Utah at Timpanogos Cave, I would put it on beta.sam and, or at least reach out to a 5-state area because it's too limiting to just go local for something like that. So it's just important that your NICS codes are in there. So when we post it, you get a notification because something like that, we wouldn't necessarily look locally. Another thing, so if it's local, like I said, I needed a crane. Well, I actually looked in the state of Montana and Idaho because, that's kind of local. It's neighbors, Idaho, North Dakota, Montana. We did find a crane, but I'm not going to look in New York City or Maryland for a crane because that's just ridiculous that they would come that far. However, you can subcontract if you stay within those limitations, which I think for small businesses, 15% has to be, that's in the FAR. You got to look that up, your limitations, but 15% of the contract needs to go towards your employees, that kind of thing. So you can even subcontract. Maybe you provide that service, but you're not in that area. Well, maybe you can call and subcontract that out. As long as you're meeting the limitations in subcontracting, it's doable. People do that. Now for the crane, like I said, I did a dynamic small business search and I looked in Montana, Idaho, and Wyoming and North Dakota. And then I got the emails for everybody that was registered in that NICS code under crane. And then I sent them all an email and asked for quotes. And then we took the lowest quote. So local could be 5-state area. It could be right in your hub zone. It could be right in your county. It depends on what you offer. But I would say software would be nationwide because that's something you can do from the whole nation.
Oh yeah, but like Montana's got such a big tech scene, so I would think you'd look in the state first. But I guess it's an incorrect assumption on my part.
That's a good point. Maybe it is worth it to look locally, and then also the customer that needs that support, he or she, which our customer is our park manager. So maybe our IT guy is our customer and he wants software support for this particular program. Well, he'll recommend a suggested vendor. So maybe he's on the know. So that's another thing to consider is just be out there, because our customer may have somebody in mind that they want to go with. And if they're registered in SAM, we will include them on the quote. We'll include them on the solicitation. We won't limit it to them because that would be unfair. But we will at least include them so they know it's, you know, we'll send them an email and let them know that, hey, there's a solicitation out that you may be interested in. So, you know, that's, sometimes we do go locally just because our customer has a suggested vendor that's local, and it makes sense to go local.
But I think to your point, you know, your question, I think IT is something that's pretty specialized procurement, and the Park Service as an agency is going to have a larger, more strategic plan for that. And so the way that is procured probably, you know, isn't as much at the local level, not to say some of the support or other items couldn't be, but I think that's an area that we need to help you look at individually and see, you know, how is the Park Service really procuring this? Where does my company fit in this spectrum? Who are the people I need to talk to, whether it's program managers, contracting staff, etc. So you need to give us a ring so we can help sort this out. Billy doesn't do that kind of procurement necessarily. So she, you know, she's got the big picture, but that's, it's hard to answer those questions without doing some more in-depth research, I think. So please call us for that.
Yeah, and that's true. The Park Service, we usually go through NASA SOUP,
Right.
or it's done on a huge Washington, D.C. scale. But
Right.
other agencies
That's right.
would be looking.
And Billy, there's another question. Just can you speak just briefly to the preservation question? And I know that probably fits under the construction, but it's from Eric. What about the procurement of A&E, preservation? The ones that you listed are for the design build services, Bear Co. out of Wyoming. So that's the prime probably, right? Yeah, I see Bear Co.
It's a whole different contracting process.
Yeah.
The one at Bearco, this MATOC list that's still on the screen, I used to be on a team that it's design build, so it's contractor led, and they come to these projects that she described with the architects and the engineers. But like in Yellowstone, there's a whole nother contracting process. The people I used to work with were Nancy Ward and Edna, I forget her last name, and one of them may be retired, or both of them, but that's contracting for architectural engineering services. And that's where I'm trying to find out. And I think there's a couple other people on the call or are in that part of this.
Okay, so right now there's two A&E IDIQs, which is a multiple ordering contract. And you can have multiple vendors on this contract. And right now, the regional A&E pool is Nelson Engineering. I mean, there's like 5 of them. Jorgensen, do you want me to list them?
Can you maybe send that to us? I can make sure Eric gets that information. That would be great.
Yeah, now that's our regional A&E pool, and it is on IDIQ, which is a multiple vendor contract. And then they compete it amongst those vendors. Or some contracts, they don't have to compete. But, okay, the other one is the Denver Service Center has a A&E. Sorry, I lost it.
Eric, let's talk so that we can try to get the right information here to you.
Thank you.
We're running up against our time, so I want to just make sure we get all these questions in and give other folks a chance to ask. I think we got most of them, Roz. Graphic design, I answered that, Carla, in the chat. That could be something the Park Service purchases directly, or it could be subcontract, either one. So let's check it out. Let's help you check it out. What else? Did we miss anything?
I mean, I don't know if Billy will know this offhand, but you know, I have a client on who's a trucking company, and she is wondering if OK2 is overseeing the replacement housing in the national parks. I don't, you know, they do some, currently this company does a lot of work for FEMA and hauls, you know, mobile housing. Is that something that, you know, that you know about? Is that, do you have
I
any?
think it's okay to doing what?
You know, are they overseeing it, the replacement housing in the national parks? Do you know?
Oh, Yellowstone, that housing project at Yellowstone. I'm not sure
Okay.
if they are, or who's got that contracted. I know at Yellowstone, they're replacing housing.
Okay, so we probably need to reach out to the primes directly then.
Yeah, we have to research that. I do know that contract. I'm aware of it. I just don't know the number of it offhand. Right?
Okay. Okay.
You can research it on Beta.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
We,
on Acquisition Gateway.
Yep.
yeah.
absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, well, I'll help her figure it out.
Great. And I think that's the thing, hopefully the takeaway for you all is, you know, PTAC can help you drill down on some of these details, find, you know, the opportunities that match your company, figure out where you fit in the spectrum. You know, Billy will help. If there's some other department, other people we need to talk to in the Park Service, you know, we can, you know, she'll help us kind of navigate that too, to answer more specific questions. So please reach out to your PTAC and let's get you where you need to be. Are there any other questions that anyone would like to ask in person? Do you see anything on the screen there, Roz?
Let me.
Yeah, I had a question regarding concessionaires.
Mhm.
You said you could provide some information on that.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll put the link in the chat right now. I'll find it right now.
Okay, when you say you'll put the link in the chat, what do you mean by that?
So if you hover on the bottom of your screen, there should be a chat box, and that you can click on and open, and that's where I'll post it. And you'll want to grab it right away because
Okay,
it'll go away.
all right, you're gonna put it on right now?
Yeah, I just need to find it here.
Okay,
And where are you at, Steve? What town are you in?
we live in Great Falls, Montana.
Okay. So there's a PTAC in Great Falls. So we can.
What does a PTAC mean?
Procurement Technical Assistance Center. We are the advisors in Montana that help companies with government contracting. And so we're the ones put on the show today, so to speak, with Billy.
So do you have a phone number or something where I can contact you?
Yes, go to montanaptac.org, Montana spelled out. Roz will put it in the chat again.
PTAC?
And we're going to email these slides to everybody. And we'll make sure that you also get the link, just in case you're not familiar with us, to go to our website. Okay.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and Xanterra is the concessionaire for Glacier National Park. You know,
Say again.
Xanterra starts with the X. But like Deanna said, work with the PTAC to get the exact contract, their contact, who to contact, and that kind of thing. You know, I work with, as construction officer, I work with PTAC hand in hand. So the best thing you can do is just talk to your PTAC advisor and make sure you're doing everything right. Use their services. That's contracting officers. We work with PTAC advisors just all the time.
Anybody
Okay.
else have questions they want to ask live, and then we'll wrap it up here. Unmute and raise your hand, ask the question, and otherwise we'll just give it a second here so people can react.
I'm not seeing anything yet.
Okay, if we somehow didn't answer the question, you know, please call us, and so we can help you get in the right spot and get the answers to your questions. And I just want to say thank you, Billy. Very good information. We so much appreciate your time today and all of the information you provided. We'll make sure everybody gets the slides. Thank you, Roz, John, Carly, if you're on. Make sure you call us. And Billy, anything else that you'd like to?
No, but thank you. I want to thank you guys too. You help us so much, and without PTAC, my job would be a lot harder. So thank you.
Well, that's what Congress pays the PTACs to do. That's the reason they give the Department of Defense allocation for PTAC. And, you know, our job is to help these companies be successful, our Montana companies, with government contracting. So we do a lot more than SAM. SAM's usually the point of entry, but there's way more that we can help, even if you're an experienced contractor. So please call. Thank you all for your time today. And if we missed your question, do not hesitate to reach out to us and we'll get you taken care of, okay? Have a good day. Enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
So Deanna,
Yes, we'll stay on.
about the follow-up, and I'll send